Good morning, friends. Elon Musk, the richest person in the world, said on Saturday that he wants there to be no tariffs between Europe and the US. I think it is interesting that Musk, with all his power, is pushing for this kind of change. He said it would be great if both Europe and the US could agree on no tariffs, creating a free trade zone. In my opinion, creating a free trade zone sounds really good, but it might be harder to pull off than it sounds. Musk shared his thoughts in a video interview with the Italy's prime minister. This interview took place during the League conference in Florence. I think it's interesting how Musk is getting involved with different countries' politic events. It is also interesting that this suggestion come right after President Trump's announced 20% tariff on goods from the European Union earlier in this week. In my opinion, this new tariff seems like it could make things between Europe and the US more complicated than it sounds. And Elon Musk tried to find a solution here. In just 2 days, the US stock market lost over $6 trillion in value. That is more than 1.5 times size of the India's economy. I think there is a huge amount of money to just disappear in a short time. The Nasdaq Composite Index, which tracks a lot of tech companies, has dropped more than 20% from its peak, officially going into a bear market. In my opinion, that just shows how much the market can quickly change, especially with big companies. Big tech companies like Nvidia, Tesla, Apple are some of the biggest reasons for the drop. I feel like a lot of investors were caught off guard by how fast it all happened. What I think is, the crash could have been avoided with better warnings and maybe a little bit more care in how things were handled. Trump can be so direct sometimes, posts very impactful tweets, threatens other countries in his speeches, point out certain individuals and make them a target. All this just not great politics, and at the end of the day, it affects the economy. It affects us, the simple citizens. How do you think all this inflation created in the first place? Just think about that. In March, layoffs in the US reached the highest number since the pandemic started. This happened because the government cut jobs to save money. According to the Challenger Gray and Christmas, job cuts went up 60% to over 250,000 in March. This is the highest number since May 2020 when the economy was struggling from the COVID-19 lockdowns. What I think is, this is interesting how March numbers is really close to the one from the pandemic start. It shows that things are still really tough. This is also the third highest number of job cuts in the 1 month record. Over the first 3 months of the year, in 2025, about 500,000 layoffs were announced, the most since the first quarter of 2009, when the economy was recovering from the Great Recession. I think this is the key point. It seems like the economy is facing some serious challenges again. And all these Trump policies are not really helping the US economy. It actually makes things worse. A big inflation wave is coming, and unfortunately, there is no escape from it. Okay, folks, this is it for the day. See you next time.